Definitely, they're both sexually unbiased. They do odd things in their home, and young fellows have gone out shouting to move away from them in their mentorship. There were sure things that would permit me to have the option to express specific things like this. So Will Smith winds up at the focal point of embarrassment, by this time, confronting allegations of supposed preparing by. In all honesty, previous kid star Orlando Brown, could you at any point accept it? I mean, is it not awful enough currently that Will and his better half were as of late uncovered for acquainting their children with hallucinogenic medications? Now this at any rate, let me break it down for you in a progression of re-merged recordings that were first delivered on April 15, 2020. Previous kid star Orlando Brown dropped a stunner guarantee that deeply affected the diversion world. The entertainer, known for his jobs in the famous Disney shows That Is So Raven and the Glad Family, made a frightening disclosure that he was purportedly miserable by. As a matter of fact, Hollywood superstars Will Smith and the late Lord of Pop Michael Jackson, regardless earthy-colored set of experiences of offering extraordinary comments during interviews, has left many scrutinizing his validity. Cynics contend that he can't be relied upon because of his unpredictable way of behaving and whimsical explanations. Anyway, imagine a scenario where only briefly we thought about how conceivable it is that he may be coming clean. In spite of the gravity of the allegations, traditional press has generally tried not to examine the matter. It causes a stir in prompts hypothesis. Might it at some point be on the grounds that Will Smith is a darling entertainer, and no one needs to accept he could commit such deplorable demonstrations? Or is there some vile truth behind the quiet, with charges of quiet cash and strong PR apparatus at play? While most fans accept that there is a reality to Orlando's cases, one fan remarked, "Damnation. Nah, he ain't lying." This large number of individuals go through it, particularly in the business, quite early in life. A subsequent fan added, "I couldn't say whether he would lie. He's truly difficult in the event that this happened. I feel awful for him. These individuals effed him up forever, and they ought to be embarrassed." One more fan took things to an unheard of level when they composed, "From what I accumulate, Will took an underage Orlando to a lodging to father him into the business with sexual blessings. This happened to basically everybody Orlando grew up with in the business, and in the long run his relatives, as they connected with the business too. What Trent's identity is, or the Jackson he professes to be, nevertheless, I envision it's from his past jobs on shows like the Jamie Foxx show. And that is Raven, to the point that he got a play as a result of his sexual penances. To Will Smith it goes into effed up circle. Like a religion to go along with you should offer deliberate sexual courtesies to jobs. Then again, the discussions encompassing Orlando Brown's psychological well-being is one more critical viewpoint. To consider his meetings portray a disturbed individual potentially wrestling with substance misuse. Many hypothesize about the underlying driver of his medication use and sporadic way of behaving. Did his supposed horrendous encounters drive him down this damaging way? One fan remarked on this colloquialism, "I think something generally hard of hearing happened to him, and I think his cerebrum is battling to adapt to the injury, and it shows his psychological maladjustment. So I think he blusters attempting to get it out, and consolidates everything together, and unfit to perhaps review careful occasions or completely articulate in a real sense." Kanye West shows a portion of similar ways of behaving. Regardless, Orlando Brown isn't the main individual to blame Will Smith for sexual wrongdoing, or even of being drawn to men. Reports and allegations have coursed for quite a long time, embroiling both Smith and music. Big shot Diddy. Everyone realizes that Will and Jada host been facilitating odd gay gatherings at their home, with participants being a lot more youthful men. These social occasions have been covered in mystery, and it's repeated that mainly individuals who partake in them can propel their vocations in Hollywood. Truth be told, Puma Wright has uncovered that she saw young fellows shouting while at the same time going out in light of the fact that both judge and will do peculiar things at their home during the mentorship. What's more, as per a YouTuber by the name Trisha Paytas, Will Smith supposedly made an unwanted lewd gesture towards one of his male artists. Trisha even ventured to such an extreme as to guarantee in a now erased video on her YouTube station that will had miserable the artist without his assent. She said, "Duping spouse my male artists, you know," when they would have rather not. Adding to the hypothesis about Will Smith's way of behaving, there have been some unsettling episodes, including his child Jaden Smith on numerous events. Will has attempted to kiss Jaden, and not on the cheek or brow, but rather on the mouth, and Jaden appeared totally creeped out by it now. We realize that guardians showing fondness to their kids is entirely typical, yet the manner in which Will goes about it has caused a stir. It's difficult to disregard the way that compelling a kiss on your kid's mouth is a bit odd. Most definitely applause. In the event that you don't find that unusual, well, this next disclosure will totally stun you. Bert Kreischer, an exceptionally fruitful visiting comic, unveiled a stunning story in which Will Smith supposedly endeavored to participate in cozy exercises with him and 12 different men. As per Kreischer, when he was simply beginning in the business, he met Smith at a recording studio where he was chipping away at his collection Millennium. The new ruler was evidently dazzled with Chrysler's satire and welcomed him to go out with him. Soon thereafter, Kreischer, who was ignorant regarding what was going to happen, consented to head out to the films with Smith anyway. Things got strange when he called his father to enlighten him, and his father cautioned him that Smith could have had different expectations for him. His father guaranteed that numerous men in Hollywood who have had steady closeness with ladies frequently went to young men for energy. Kreischer, at first wary about his father's cases, chose to notice his recommendation and dressed as carelessly as conceivable in overalls and a sweater when he showed up at the assigned gathering spot, a Planet Hollywood cafe. Somebody advised him to go ground floor, and he expected he would need to get physically involved with Smith and 12 different men. Anyway, shockingly, when he got to the first floor screening room, there were 10 men hanging tight for him, including Snazzy Jeff. While watching the film, no odd things happened, and Chrysler thought he had gotten away from Smith's aims. Yet he was in for another amazement when Smith requested him his thought process from individuals in the screening space. Surprisingly, Chrysler acknowledged he had watched the film with a room loaded with hip-bound symbols like Cool Modi and Business Marquee, who Smith had gotten for him to meet. He brought every one of these hip jump folks for me to meet, Chrysler said. I was like, I could have F to Business Marquee. Chrysler's story has ignited a ton of tattle and hypothesis in Hollywood, with many contemplating whether Smith has a background marked by starting youthful VIPs into the business through his unpleasant gay gatherings. Some even ventured to guarantee that Will plays assumed control over the part of gatekeeping from Quincy Jones. Quincy is the head watchman. One individual composed for setting Smith's supposed gay meeting started with Quincy Jones. In the event that you don't have the foggiest idea who this is, Quincy is an unbelievable maker, performer, lyricist, etc. He's likewise frequently alluded to as the dark adoptive parent of the music business. Quincy Jones has created for a great rundown of striking craftsmen during his vocation.